horns because the guys at the back of the pack are spread out. So they don't know what the heck we're doing. That's what we need to clean up. We need to look like we know what we're doing. Look the business.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
On this ride, I left Northampton, rolled into the Woodlands. Had more times. I took the long way there, went through Alden Bridge Village, picked up the group, headed out on Research Forest, 1488 West. We started filming there, to Mount Magnolia. We headed past Cairn, all on film, Jackson to 1486, out into Dobbins on Mount Mariah. We stopped at the 105 stores where we stopped filming, and we continued on Mount Mariah past Dacus, on Johnson, into the forest on Bethel Road, came down on 149 South, and took Hidden Forest Road to Mount Pleasant Road to 1097 back to Taco. Brief stop there. We went on Spring Branch Road to Keenan Cutoff, the Hills Parkway, Grand Lake Estates, and then that took us to Honia Egypt Road. I took the long way back, rode past Tamana, and went on the western side of the Woodlands to end the ride. Gave me about 170 kilometers thereabout, a little over 100 miles. It was very, very nice. It was a pleasant ride. I think you'll love the clips we put together for you.
I don't think Darren heard it, but that guy was waiting. I told you guys on Thursday, that guy was waiting for us further down on Honia.
Oh, the guy that stopped.
Oh yeah, you mentioned it. You mentioned it.
See, me and Alejandro went straight.
Talking about some aggressive driver on one of their rides.
He was waiting about 2 miles down. He was waiting on the left.
That guy was dangerous.
Yeah, 149 Jackson. We'll stop at the store at 105. The second stop is Taco, but we're doing the forest, Mount Pleasant, and Taco, and then coming back the historic Spring Branch route. Should be a fabulous day for a bike ride. Okay? All right, let's do this.
18 Celsius.
Let's do this, my brothers.
Low
Let's have
60s
fun.
Fahrenheit.
Be safe.
What they're talking about is that some driver was impatient on one of their rides and went around really aggressively, and then slammed on his brakes in front of the pace line after one of the riders flipped him off. So you got to resist the urge to flip off drivers that do stuff. Just, if you have to, get their license plate and file a complaint. It will be assigned to an officer and they will find it. Because you're not going to get anything positive when you flip somebody off. This is FM 1488 West in Egypt, Texas. We're headed towards Magnolia, Texas. So what we've done on this ride is I've put the option, when possible, when we have enough riders, to split the field into a couple of speed groups for now. But it's only going to work if we have enough people showing up that want to change the speed, because I'm not going to slow the group down. Everybody has a different fitness level, so if you're doing something slower, then maybe that day you don't ride with a group or you sit in. That's kind of your call. But this is leisure, so we want people to come and have their fun. A lot of riders here are not training for anything, any event or anything. They just ride their bike all year. So it's not like they have to back off to avoid peaking before an event. So that's another thing. So we're going to, starting next week, I'm back on my full schedule, so I'm just going to be riding.
This route is really good. We have a lot of climbing, almost 800 meters of climbing. It's really neat, yeah.
So at the end of the ride, I actually had 1,000 meters of climbing. That's Clement Champoussant from the Akea Sensing thing. John Malbrecht. He's growing a beard.
Thinking about changing. Looks cool. That's good for winter.
John's growing a beard. It says temporary.
Yeah.
I thought it looks good. That was Darren, the big boy that went by.
Abby, how you doing, my brother? I'm glad you healed well.
He tells me my bike matches my jersey. He's a comedian. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's Steve.
You gotta be prepared, man.
Mike
This
Bradbury,
was before they had team
Alejandro.
cars.
So we look like a unit. This is what I'm trying to do with our group. Even from front to back, we need to look the business like this so that the drivers find us predictable as they go by. That's what it's about. It's Doug. In a little bit, I'm going to ride up and give Paul the camera. We're going to go 2 abreast, so one line will be to the right. We got a wide enough shoulder, and we're just kind of rolling right now. So when you can do 2 abreast, it's fine because then you're a shorter group and it's quicker for them to come around. But on certain roads when it's very narrow, it's better to just do single file. You know, you just have to base it on safety, you know. So right here, I roll up, give Paul the camera.
Okay.
I'm wearing my sew-up spare, like the boys from the early 20th century used to do. Gino Batali, Fausto Coppi, etc.
Gino Batali and Fausto Coppi. I said, I'm putting on my tire tomorrow. Those boys were smoking in the Veloharmony. They're sharing cigarettes. Really?
They didn't know back then in 1914 that smoking cigarettes was bad for you. They actually have been told that smoking cigarettes would open their lungs. So they literally spread, they were sharing cigarettes in the peloton. The boys were just world athletes, man.
Beautiful weather, man. Oh, man.
Gino Batali had a younger brother that passed away when he was 20 years old in an accident with an automobile, and it said he didn't get the best medical service, you know, so he did not make it. So it was unfortunate because he said his brother had really good talent. He mentioned that his brother was the only one who could stay on his wheel in training. I study the history of our sport because it's very colorful.
Pack too much on Friday. It wears you out mentally. Yeah. I'm glad because I feel really good. Okay.
This is a good sport for maintaining good health, good fitness. There's less pounding on the body. The requirement is that you get your bike fitted to your body properly so you can really avoid injury.
All good? Yeah, all good, man. Just riding my bike. Yeah. I'm finally enjoying my vacation.
You can see it's an overcast morning. It stayed overcast the whole time.
Yeah.
And the temperature did not go up much.
Until January 1, I go back.
So it was a very, very mild day.
Yeah, I do that every year. I just work, and then November, I can't wait. That's why I miss most of the rides.
So no work at all in November and December?
Nope. Nope, that's time for family.
So the goal here, since it's winter, is you want to maintain the fitness that you had from the season. You want to focus on areas that are niggling, bothering you, like any kind of injuries you may have or aches and pains, address it. Confirm your fit if you have fit issues with your bike, and make sure that everything works to where when you start to go harder in the season, you're not dealing with those kind of issues. You know, whatever bike you're gonna ride, you're gonna make sure that you get the saddle you like, all of that is comfortable. Now's the time to do it. If you're gonna make any changes to your fit, you do it in the off season. Don't wait till you have your big events to do stuff like that.
You work for United or?
Yeah, United. United 36 years. I just...
So in a little bit, I think we're going to get to where, well, we're not close to Mount Mariah yet. But the goal was to keep this ride steady, which for the most part, it worked until we got outside of Mount Mariah on 1486. Then the group split up, but that's off camera.
Yeah.
You know.
Good. Stability, huh?
Yeah, I started in
So the thing is that
87, so
whatever you're doing, make sure you have a goal. If your goal is, oh, I want to hang with this group, sit in if the pace is challenging. Don't try to be a hero. You're not impressing anyone. Use your head. Sit in. You get to the front, pull off, get back in the line so you can finish the ride. There are plenty of other people who can pull, you know, good sized group. Because in a big group, you'll be able to sit in and handle a faster pace if you ride smart.
Want to get in?
You want to be efficient.
You will pull it.
I was wondering who was asking Paul all those questions. That was Jerry.
Were you pulling? Were you pulling? That's why my legs felt it.
Yeah, Laura just pulled off the front. She's sitting behind Paul. Kind of keeping my cadence in the 80s right now, just kind of sitting along. The group's not really going hard yet. So this is perfect for maintaining your fitness during the winter. You want to get some long rides in. They don't need to be slow, but you don't need to be trying to peak by doing anaerobic intervals or something like that. So if you're riding with like-minded riders, that works out. If not, you do it by yourself. But increase your endurance for whatever effort you decide to do at this point. There's a lot of debris. That's why this line is over here. We're close to the white line. So we're using part of the main lane. We dumped a lot of dirt and mud on the shoulder. So once it clears up, then we'll go back. So right here, we go back on the shoulder. So I stay near the front, and I'm staying very smooth and staying in shelter, keeping my effort minimal. I'm in zone 1 right now. We're going downhill somewhere.
I had that elbow surgery, so that's what really messed me up.
Oh yeah. Was it your left or right elbow?
It was this one.
Oh, okay.
That took me after. We got 3 weeks of no riding at all.
Wow.
The good thing is this time of year, I usually get able, like I take vacation, not like you, but I'll take like a week or 2.
Yeah.
And I'll ride just about every day. So I set myself up good for a good start next year.
Yeah. Well, you know
So
what
in a
to
little
do.
bit, the road's going to
That's
start
a good
inching
thing.
up a bit, slight grade.
Training.
Yeah, I'm doing some other things. I've been running a little bit,
Oh yeah.
swimming.
Okay.
Right around here, the grade should creep up.
That's what I enjoy the most about.
Yeah. Well, you're good at it, so.
Got all excited and swimming, and that's what messed up my elbow. Swimming, they recognize when I was a freshman in college, we won our conference championships.
Yeah.
So they decided to recognize our team. 40 years later.
Then right around here, I'm going to downshift, and my cadence should go up a little more. So I was trying to roll the same gear.
Oh, really?
It's really nice. So prior to that,
Right there. You see the watts go up?
I started swimming.
Finish the hill.
Swimming is pretty good for that, though, isn't it?
So Darren pulled off the line. I'm going to go through to the pull off on both on either side of us because we're doing a double pace line.
And I swim like 3 or 4 miles each day.
Go ahead, Darren. Go ahead.
I swim up and down the coast. I think I just put too much in. You know, like not riding for 10 years and then decide to do 5 days of 100 miles each.
Oh.
It's kind of like,
Yeah.
So if you have a group in your area that is doing steady rides, or it helps you pass the time. You can ride by yourself, get to the group, do some of their miles, and then finish off by yourself. Especially when you have a long day. That's why I always ride to the ride, and then after the ride, I ride back to finish up my ride, and I can decide if I want to add more or not.
I see. I still remember that one day you and Abby took me out there, and then I was so tired, right? Yeah. And you waited for me for a little while, and then this truck comes by, and you jumped on it. I was like, how does he do that? I was dying over here. It's like a burst of energy.
This is a new area here. It used to be all trees. Now all the buildings are popped up. They got a lot of businesses here on both sides of the road.
you look so much stronger now than years ago.
Well, when I ride consistently, I get a little bit stronger, but not to the level of you guys. You guys are still amazing me.
Especially now that you're taking off and you're riding more, you're going to be
So right there on the right, there's a barrel,
Well,
the construction barrel with that sign in.
And then I'm back to try find a place to ride and put it on my schedule.
So in a little bit, we're going to pass a couple of riders that are up ahead of us. They're on the right. You know, they're riding at a slower pace than we are. And then our group will spread out because as soon as cyclists see other cyclists, they got to go harder. So Abby and another rider increase the pace. I just hold my pace steady. This is the overpass we call Mount Magnolia. There's a lot of debris on the far side, but that's not why we're riding here. We're riding here to give these riders right here, to give them some room as we go by. I don't like to ride where they are. There's a lot of stuff that can cause punctures. All the debris gets pushed over them when the cars go by in the main lane. Can't really see, but there's a slight gap, not much, to a couple of riders, and we're going to catch up on the descent as we go around. There's Abby and somebody else under this dark. Right there, you can see them. Saying hi to Jerry. I just saw him for the first time. I knew he had hurt his arm. I was asking him how was his arm. A long time since we hit a green light here. This is Highway 149. We're going north towards Dobbins, Texas.
Good morning, man. Good, man. How are you? Good.
This is Highway 149. We're going to head out. It goes right in about probably 10 kilometers, but we're going to go straight where it becomes Jackson Road. This will take us to the FM 1486. We're using the shoulder. You see me drifting a little to the right. I'm looking around the rider in front of me. Keep my eye on debris, because not everybody calls out everything. It's not their responsibility. You need to read the road, even more so in the group than when you do solo, because your visibility is impaired by the rider you're following. It is not their responsibility. It is nice if they point out something, but it's your responsibility to pay attention. Because sometimes by the time they see something, it might be too late. So don't depend on that. Be vigilant. The road goes up slightly here. It's not much of a grade. It says 2%. This guy's in too large of a gear. He's getting gapped. He's got to get that gear rolling. You got to shift. That's why you carry 10 or 11 or 9. Use them. Don't be shy. Going in the wind, that's Jerry up there. I believe he was sitting next to me. I ended up probably giving him a little bit of room so he can get in. I'm not sure why he was over there. Jerry's still sitting out there. Really needs to get in the line. Anyhow, we ride this in a few kilometers. We're going to get on a much quieter stretch, which is Jackson, a much more scenic stretch with trees on both sides of the road. Saying car back because he sees Jerry in the main lane. I think I must have told him to come and get in front of me. Then he gets back on that. I don't know what he's doing. So on a road like this with this favorable shoulder, see where this guy is? That's where you want to ride. It's there, why not use it? It's safe, it's clean, you use it. If it's hazardous in the stretches where it's not very safe for the bike and the traffic allows, then you use the main lane and then you come back over once you get by the obstacle. The other roads you just can see that. For example, there's some stretches where we got construction barrels, not on this ride, but certain other areas. We just use the main lane because they put the barrels there, it closes the road, and we use it for that stretch. But if it's there, you use it. They appreciate it. You can see most of them give you room even when you're on the shoulder. A lot of times there'll be a 2-lane road, I'll be riding on the shoulder and they'll give me the right lane and I'm not in the right lane. You know, a lot of drivers do that. That's the same way I pass cyclists when I'm in my car. I don't get anywhere near them. I don't know their skill level. I don't need the liability. So I give them plenty of room. Even, especially motorcyclists as well. I don't get anywhere near them when I'm driving my car. And even other cars, I give them room. I have plenty of room for stopping or whatever. Because following too close is your fault. You know, if you hit another car from behind, it's your fault. You have to maintain your speed. There is actually a charge that you can get on a ticket, failure to maintain speed or something like that. You know, I'm not sure what the logic is behind it, but I've heard of that. So be cautious when you're out there. You know, be aware, pay attention. That text can wait. A lot of times if I have to text or something, I pull into a parking lot or something and sit there and do that if I must. I don't do it while I'm driving. I need to pay attention. In our city, H-Town, as it's called, we have a high percentage of drivers that are rushing everywhere. And there's a lot of what I call carefree, really more like reckless. We have a high percentage of drivers rushing around and they take chances. Rushing to work, rushing here, rushing there. So in the metro areas, so when I get in my car, I focus on driving. Multitasking is overrated. You don't get to enjoy any activity when you multitask. Pick one and do it. We're approaching, I believe, the intersection where this highway goes to the right and continues, and then Jackson takes over when you go straight. So we're using the lane. I had already checked my mirror. There is a car behind us, but we had motioned to him that we're going to use the lane, so he gave us plenty of room. So we check the driver here. We let him know we're going, and we go through as a train. This is a little 2% bump right after you get through that intersection. So you got to kind of be ready. You see the gap open there? This is the stretch I really love. We've got newer pavement here, of course, but it's a lot less busy because that highway that we just left that continued to the right, that's where the traffic continues. There's more stuff going on out there. Out here, we have a lot of high acreage properties. There's a community on the left there that we're passing. But the volume here is low. The volume of cars. This is the stretch that's called Jackson. It's probably about 10 kilometers long, I'm estimating. I've never really clocked it, just gauging. But it's a good place to come and get a nice effort in. So we're out of town. We're on rural roads. We're relatively close to civilization, but we're out the major congestion of a metro area. So you can see we're moving along at 22, 23 miles an hour. It's a little bit of wind or whatever. It's relatively steady. I was very impressed with this place. I believe Abby is pulling. And so when he pulled off, I will put my arm around him and just tell him, man, good work. Something like that. I don't know if it shows up on the camera. But I'm probably in third or fourth position. I think I'm in front of John right there. I'm in front of John in the black and blue Asos RS kit. John we dub Clement Champoussin because his form is similar to the rider who he has left the AG3R Citroën La Mondiale team, and he's with Arkea Semsic for 2023. That's Abby pulling off. So Abby was pulling. I think I pat him on the back. So good work. Right there. Jerry pulled out the line. I think he's going to drift to the back or something. This is the way I like our group to be. Tight. Predictable. That's the way you must do your stuff. When you're with your group, try to get them to be predictable on the roads. And even when you ride solo, don't take chances. Communicate your moves. Take your time. If you can't make that left turn, if you have to stop, you stop. There are times when I have to stop and let the cars go by before I can go into a left turn lane because there's just so much traffic on certain roads. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all part of the experience. The sound of an automobile just does not belong out here. They're like aliens invading the serenity of the space. Like a virus, like the Agent Smith in the Matrix. He said human beings are a virus. So not every ride you have to be on the rivet. You can sit in. If it's steady, you will be able to accommodate more riders, and they will be more willing to pull through if you keep it smooth. Pull through and take their turn at the front. A lot of groups would specify when I was coming up in cycling to keep things smooth. If the person in front of you is doing 32 kilometers an hour, when they're done, stay there. Keep it at that same range so that person can get in the back and recover, and you keep the group moving instead of raising the pace to an effort that was not sustainable or would not keep the group together. You know, and it all depends on the purpose of the group. Even road racing groups, there were times when they would do steady rides, you know. There are some rides that are geared towards road racing competition, and so you have a lot of intervals and what the Europeans call fartlek training, you know, mostly in the spring and stuff, when you guys were getting ready for speed work. But this is what builds the base you need to have quality when you increase your effort later. So you definitely need to start with your fit. So if you're having problems keeping up when the speed picks up, think about what you're doing. Are you just pushing down? Are you so uncomfortable that you can only mash the gears? You can't really use the muscles in the back of your legs. You know, your calves, everything play a factor. Your hamstrings, your lower back muscles, they're all part of it. You use that to power the bike. And that's why when you go hard, you're supposed to be in the proper position so you can recruit those muscles in your back. You're using everything back there. And when you're not set up correctly on your bike, you can't tap into those muscles. And you end up just doing something like a leg press. And your quads can only fire for so long. You overload them, so they start to burn. You should shift the effort from the quads to the other muscles throughout each pedal stroke. Doug pulled off the front. So we're riding at 23 miles an hour, just steadily. That's what you're looking at right here. The benefits of being in a group. You can see my watts that go like 100 and something, 69, because I'm soft pedaling. You're in a group. The speeds are such that you get sucked along and you have to soft pedal so you don't run up on the other rider. So when you see the low watts, it's because the power's off. This is why you should learn to ride with other riders, because you're not putting out hard effort all the time when you're in the group, especially if you stay close. I'm up front. I'm in front of John, the guy in the blue and black there, House's kid. You follow closely, you try to stay smooth, but you can only stay smooth if you're comfortable on your bike. If you're shifting around on that seat because it doesn't feel right, or you get home, you got all these saddle sores because your saddle's chafing you, you got to sort that out. Because when you're comfortable, the rest is easy, or easier. The road's starting to go up here. Yeah, 1%. It's going to go up gradually. I end up downshifting a couple of times just to sit on the wheels because it's just nice and steady. You see the speeds came down just a bit. Depending on your goal, that's kind of how you want to do it. This is when you really learn to climb. You want to be efficient. You want to stay smooth. John pulled up alongside me up there to say, hey, I think they're going to put another lane on the left that have cleared the brush, the grass, and some of the little shrubs on the left side there. And I told him, I said, I think they're going to put maybe a turn lane. There are communities being added in this area. And so once they do that, they try to put a lane to where people can easily turn into their community or, you know, without blocking the main lane. That's why you see that construction vehicle there, heavy equipment. That's what they're doing on the left there. So they're going to probably add pavement just for a turn. They usually do that. They widen it just enough, and then once it passes the community, that lane effectively ends. So he said his piece and he got back in the line. Because I mentioned here, I said, I think that's what they're doing. You see how the grass is on the left there? They've cleared it on that side because they're going to do something there. So in our area, you're supposed to leave about 25 feet from the road to your structure. That's a minimum. You know, out here they probably do more because their houses look like they're hundreds of feet away from the main road. That allows them to do other improvements and stuff without impacting any structure you put in there. Almost like an easement requirement. Those of you who are familiar with that. Easement is something that they use to run like utilities, gas, and other stuff between homes. So they don't want anybody putting a fence there or something like that that would impede their ability to access it. And if you do, they can literally tear that structure down to get to it with impunity. So whenever you buy property, they show you where the easement is. So you want to only do soft improvements, meaning you can do a lawn or something there or whatever, but not a structure you care about. You're not allowed to build in the easement. That's English Mike. We call him Michael Bradbury English Mike. He's a Brit. He pulled off the front. We're going to be turning soon.
Good call, Mike.
It's a very mild day for us. It stayed around 23 C in the middle of the afternoon, but it was a cool 23 C. It wasn't muggy. This is 1486, the FM 1486. This is taking us to Dobbins, Texas. We're going to get on Mount Mariah Road to go to our stop. It descends and then it kicks up in a little bit, about 150 meters or so, kick up. And right about here it starts going up. So when you're at the front and the road starts to go up, you have to measure your effort the same way as you do on the flats. You have to try your best not to force the pace too much. You know, whether you're using RPE, if you're using a power meter, it's even easier. You just look at the watts that you want to maintain. This makes cycling more enjoyable. You're in company. The time passes even faster than when you solo. Although after this ride, I did almost 7 hours by myself. So I'm kind of a nut in that regard. But Yeah, it's always more fun if you can mix the ride up to where you hook up with a group for a good chunk of the ride. You know, ride to the group, ride with them, then ride back home. That's good. It's a good mix. So you get a nice warm up in and a nice cool down. A lot of cyclists in our area do that. I only drive to the ride if it's an organized ride or we're going to do a different area of town to get new terrain. Then I'll do that. Shoulder widens here briefly. It's nice and clean. And in about maybe 200 meters, it's going to close up. It gets narrower, but still rideable. We're heading towards Mount Mariah Road. You were here, Paul pointed out to Laura. Laura is one of the people in the group that recently moved here from California. And she's actually probably more familiar with the roads than our locals because she's trying to understand our confusing roads. In our area, we have roads where it's a FM road, farm to market road, but it also has names depending on which community or town that you're in. So it can be very confusing. And that's what she's trying to sort. You know, we had to do the same thing to master this area where our roads are confusing because they end one area and then they continue somewhere else, but it's the same road. So the best way to do that is after you move to an area, just study on the map. Like if you have a Garmin, every time you ride, it records a course. So you hook it up to, if you're on Strava, go and look at your map, make it wider and look at what you just did. That's how you learn it. Especially the areas you're most confused about, you just focus on that on the map. So you're not spending the whole time going over the parts of the courses that you're comfortable with. You see Abby back there with white sleeves. I just wore long sleeves on this ride. I knew it wasn't going to warm up much, but I did not wear a thermal jersey. That is the Rafa Pro Team Aero jersey, which is lighter. It's perfect for up to maybe 30C if at the top end. So if it's between 10C and 30C, you want to wear your mild stuff. But at 18 Celsius, the wind is kind of nippy. You got to cover your arms. Your arms aren't doing anything. You can leave your legs if you want to, but they'll cover your arms. So I have these little parameters to where if it's below 10C, then I put on knee warmers at a minimum. But if it's below 7C or 7C or less, then I put on leg warmers because it's cold. Might as well, if it's going to stay in that range. But if the day varies, then yeah, you can tolerate stuff early. So you deal with it early in the ride, and then later on when things warm up, it feels fine. But I want to be comfortable when I leave early, so I dress warm. And I have things that I can shed. So we're approaching Mount Mariah. I've gotten on the main lane because we need to use that because we're turning left.
No, that's Mount Mariah. Yeah, that's Mount Mariah.
Okay, thank you. Remember that.
Yeah, once we cross the railroad, Mount Mariah.
So he's letting her know because she had asked what I tried to do is I used the title of the ride, the course name. I put all the streets in there that the amount of characters it can take will allow me to do. I focus mostly on where we're going to be turning. And so Laura was trying to use that to say, okay, how can I relate this to what's on the map. Because I don't put everything on there because they can't, all the streets can't fit. There's not enough room. And so that's what he's pointing out to her. You know, Laura downloads the course on her head unit. That's what you have to do sometimes, because if there's an issue and you need to get back with the group, you need to know where it is. Darren's at the front. He's closing out this loop, I guess. We're coming to the store about maybe a kilometer from the stop. And I think I increased my cadence a little bit. I don't know. I'm just on his wheel. This road has a lot of cracks. The road has been separating, and they're significant enough to where you feel them. So that's why you see us riding around. It's a slight grade. You can see the guy in blue. He's whatever gear he's in, he's really searching for a little more power. I try to use gears to where my upper body is not going to move, just my legs. At least, you know, especially early in the ride. So I don't know what you did this weekend, but this is part of what we did on Saturday. We definitely are not going to let the weather slow us down. Today is Monday. It's about probably 17, 18 Celsius. It's in the 60s right now. It's supposed to be about 10 Celsius in the morning, about 50. Then the forecast said it's going to be windy. Well, wind gusts to 13 miles an hour. That's not windy, you know. And so I posted a ride for Tuesday because the Romeo people that usually have their rides were wimping out. They didn't want to ride. So we're taking matters into our own hands because it's Thanksgiving week. A lot of people are off work. My brother is on vacation, so we're gonna ride tomorrow. So I put a 60-mile ride. We're about 3 hours, 3.5 hours, so people can come back and go on with their day. So by 10:30, 11 we'll be done. So I got other stuff going on, but that's good enough. Especially if it's windy, you just have to treat it like you're climbing. That's basically what it is. So remember, get your K's in and keep the doctors fired. I stopped because there was a car coming, but he turned. So we're going to go across here. There's a store right there. This is Taco Corner number 2. They actually call themselves Taco Corner. So we dub it number 2. So people know exactly what we're talking about. They have a good restroom facility in there. I mean, a full service where you got multiple stalls and all of that. Not these, a lot of these places got like a little one-room toilet. So this one, and then they have water, ice, and all of that. Abby. So we plan our stops to make sure people get a chance to hydrate and whatever else. It's important. For some reason, the bees were out, even though it's winter. So it was unusual for us. The bees were swirling around the trash can. So that's kind of that was what we encountered. I'm telling them about the line. The line was nice and tight.
Yeah, just different vibe. Old vibe, but different. Ooh. He's another friend of mine.
How you doing, boy?
Good, man. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
Been a minute.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm glad you came out, man.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I've been seeing you running, doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been doing a little bit.
Yeah.
Time to get back at it.
Yeah, looking good, man.
Thanks.